since the beginning of Summer Split.
Welcome everyone to week 1 of the Summer Split.
107 games have been played, 50 competitors, 10 teams. But after this weekend, only 2 remain.
I want to get your quick thoughts on Yuji.
I don't really think anything of him, and he has an LCS support, so we're gonna win.
I think he's not that good, to be honest. Yeah.
And this time, you can be a part of the action too, because the NACL finale will air live from the Riot Games Arena. Mark your calendars and purchase your tickets to be a part of the live studio audience. Not convinced? Let's hear what the community thought of the premiere.
Duffy, you just saw the finals. What would your review be?
That was incredible.
Do you recommend folks at home buy a ticket?
Yes, I recommend they buy 2.
Do you recommend the show?
100%, 1,000%. Actually, I rate this higher than Oppenheimer and Barbie combined.
Maybe Toy Story 3 above it?
Toy Story 3 was really good.
Close to Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Do you recommend people at home come see it?
You need to go see it right now. Right now. Get your tickets. Get your tickets. Go, 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 go.
But no spoilers. Don't miss out on the cinematic event of summer. We'll see you there.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our Rally Cry halftime show. Wasn't 100% sure we were gonna get one of these, but just guys, well, they make it a series and they're gonna be taking us into yet another game. And what a game, honestly, because I kind of felt like Darkwings 2 that here they had the tools to win, but DSG just played out of their mind and found the win cons they needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the huge turning point was that Baron sequence where Jax was kind of able to get Manui out of the fight and then just kind of like take over the fight from there.
Yeah, also the response to that and how well Disguise played when Manui was missing Flash for that instance. They punished so hard against Fear, and a lot of gold went over to the right people, and Meech ended up paying it out.
Yeah, and with that win too, my chance at being correct on the predictions is officially dead. I feel like that was rightfully deserved for a curse, considering off air I was telling the casters that I was the smartest one on the broadcast, and promptly DSG did just have to prove me wrong, but never been happier to be proved wrong. And Darkwings, that means that your prediction, I mean, there is the chance here that Fear could take this next game and you could be the winner chicken dinner on this broadcast today.
Yeah. Be pretty exciting.
You sound thrilled, Darkwings.
I'm very thrilled.
Like, I'm right all the time. It's old news. It's old news. But, hey, I figured for our Rally Cry halftime show, we could start looking back at a couple of the key moments throughout this series that have brought us to this point, because I feel like we have had quite a few big moments going on in these games and moments that have really turned the tides of how the series has gone down. I thought it'd be a good chance to look back at them, but also to sit here and have a chance and kind of analyze if, hey, maybe if things had been changed or kind of rewrite the history, had this not happened in this fight or whatnot, how things maybe could have shooken up differently. And we're gonna go all the way back to game 1. I know that was a while ago. I'll give you guys a second to kind of remember how that went down. That was the 50-minute one, all right? 50-minute banger. And halfway through that, well, there was this team fight where all right out of the gate, as we get these clips rolled, there was a death really early on coming out from Perry. And then after that, Fear, I mean, Darkwings, they didn't let up. This is the point too where DSG were kind of running the first half of this and Fear just never gave up.
Yeah, I mean, I picked off Perry here. But the objective wasn't even up, and I kind of stalled long enough for him to come back.
Yeah, I really love here how Fear also like leaned on their poke, like just utilizing it to push Disguised off, and like Disguised are trying to bait Fear in too far, but Fear I think played really disappointed in this sequence, Darkwings.
Yeah, I think maybe Disguise needed to, like, they didn't actually have threat on the Baron yet, so Fear was playing it slow.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. Like, that's definitely something where, like, likely in the comms for Fear, like, if you establish early on, like, guys that can't hit Baron, that's probably something I expect was communicated, because then, you know, just make sure, like, hey, like, don't overcommit, like, they're going to try and fish. Like, that's their only play if we push them up top. So really well done by Fear. I think paying that respect was really the difference to them in that one. I think it changes for Disguise. Is that the other portion, Sierra? Anything we'd swap up?
Yeah, if there's looking back, because, you know, when we're sitting here, little armchair analysts will always know how to do it a little bit better than anyone. But there's anything looking back at that now that's like, oh, if Disguise just did this one little thing.
What do you think, Darkwings? You got anything?
Yeah, I mean, after the pick, they could have just tried to take control over Dragon. In that sense.
Maybe play through the bot jungle and then play through bot. The positioning was kind of tough to like actually get around Fear there, but I think that's like the one way they could have forced it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that too, after this, Fear, they start to get a nice little lead for themselves. And our next clip was once they had gained that lead, and it kind of looked like a really tough spot for DSG here. But then there was a really big pivotal moment of what objectives were gone to, and Fear, well, Darkwings, this is when they chose to pick the Baron up when there was still Elder out to get.
Yeah, this is definitely not a trade you want to take as Fear. I think they could have kept mid push and then just played one more wave to see like where they would go, and then they can just do the Elder first.
Yeah, this was an oopsie. When you're up in the game, with especially like Mountain Soul, you shouldn't be the ones that are seeding Elder. So I felt like that was DSG can never really fight them truly, but also if you have Elder, then the game just ends. So that was a curious one for me. So yeah, that was definitely a really awkward moment in that game.
And Fear did still win in the end. They were able to wait that one out. But was there, of course, if Fear was able to get that Elder, I mean, things would have just been like done. But Darkwings, was there then this window of opportunity getting the Elder that we could have realistically seen that DSG get the game one, or is it just kind of one of those haha funny whoopsies, but it's okay?
Yeah, it is kind of a funny whoopsie just because, I mean, a lot of the Fear's structures are still up, so even if like DSG could force like into their base, like they wouldn't get too far. They wouldn't be able to end a game with just the Elder buff. They would need like another round.
A funny little thing to look back on, but hey, they're keeping it interesting for us. So now we have to go into game 2 because this was a lot faster of a game win for Fear to get themselves closer to the series, and this was right closer near to the beginning too. This is I think right out at the beginning where there's a little snipe cubby.
Yeah, this is what we call you know, an illegal wave. Darkwing says that wave it cannot be touched, right?
Yep, definitely cannot be. But that juicy tower was looking too juicy for Shoji, so
plates were about to fall too. It didn't show, but I remember that from the game. You know, he wanted the outer, one of the bonus gold. You know.
Yeah.
He's going for it. It's just the juicy tower. You can't resist that often, right? So. Alright, don't think actually there's too much we can necessarily change off of that one. But hey,
no
looking... just cut the wave. Just cut the wave.
Just
so
a legal hit, you know.
We'll hit. Alright. We're gonna roll our next one here in game 2. This is getting a little closer to the end of the game, though not too much, as of course when we're going back to the objectives. A big story as of always. And this is the fight over the Baron. You're looking pretty good. Especially just untouched here, Darkwings.
Yeah, it didn't seem like DSG were ready to actually turn it. Tomi actually like queued away instead of like queuing forward, so it doesn't seem like they're actually ready to take this fight. And everyone was kind of just, maybe they weren't like fully on the same page about this play, so.
Yeah, Fake Guy was out with no empowered TP, so I thought this turn was like a little bit tricky. If anything, I think they should have waited like for the alcove in a way. But I think the opener for that fight too, like the chunk on the Baron, I mean, when you take a chunk like that, that's one where like maybe you're trying to get Young in the position to turn when they actually enter to try and contest you at Baron instead of having Young DPS. I think that's one of the big differences. Like having him, so then you can actually approach with a Shurima Shuffle that could start the fight off instead of giving Fear that big upfront damage engage you can find with the mages when they throw out their ultimates. I think was probably the biggest thing I'd actually look towards in that one. So if anything, I was going to change anything, it'd probably be like before they hit the Baron off camera, like just move and like position Young differently. I'm kind of curious what you think for that one, Darkwings.
Yeah, I agree in the sense where like as a Zir, it's really hard to play into like double poke, and he definitely needs to like find an angle, and their team needs to engage first to actually want to fight, and find like their backline. So yeah, one can definitely look for an angle like that. I think would be good.
And then with that game too, I mean, it was pretty for your favor. Do you think that DSG, there was any of those little mistakes that could have been fixed, that could have been getting that game win, or just fear a little too in control of that one?
Game 2, yeah. I think based on draft, it seemed really hard for DSG to play. Because they had Azir and Xayah, which are both like they don't really want to play into long range poke. So
Seraphine makes that really tough too, because not only does it enable for you to like retreat with that poke, but also when you do pick your spots and go in, it makes something like a Renekton so much stronger, not to mention the Kindred. So I think that was a really tough draft for these guys to pull out, and they definitely made adaptations from that going into game 3 to make sure they got in a much better position to take that game, which they ended up doing.
And final clip, this one is from game 3, and I feel like too, Fear, they kind of had a couple of things that were set up for them going into this, but DSG, this is where they started to really turn like and being like, no, even if you have things set up for you, Darkwing's like, DSG were fighting, and fight they did.
I would change nothing that Fake God did in this fight. What do you think, Darkwings?
I think Fear, after they get the Baron, they need to like just try to leave, like cut the losses and leave.
Yep.
I'll say it was like a decent play, but they needed to be like on the same page about that.
Maybe Power of Friendship being a little bit too intense there. I think Shochi ulting for kills instead of ulting to get out, definitely one of the changes that I would have made. I agree with you there, Darkwings. But also, really big props to Zeyzal and Fake God. That Braum ult into forcing the flash out of Cog was beautiful, and really made sure that Fake God was able to free hit moving forward. So that was a really big one for DSG. I think one of the big reasons why they won, because then when they punished the Cog flash after so many times, got them so much gold, and Meech was fed, and then all that game panned out.
Yep, and with that too, and well, how well DSG played that last game, they definitely deserve to have the series go on a little bit longer. So it's time now for our game 4 here in the upper finals, and time for our draft. So thank you too for your expert armchair analysis. Let's I'm happy and excited to hear some going on for this draft.
All right, I'll go ahead and take it from you, Sierra. I like the armchair analysis, and thank you so much for making these two look so big brain, especially Darkwings. I don't know so much about Cubby. But we are getting into our game number 4 now. We have Pierre over on the blue side, this guy's on the red side. And I think that the way that we've seen this meta within this best of 5 adapt, this is our first best of 5 of LCS Challengers Summer Split. So I want to see if there's any of those adaptations. We already get that respect ban towards that Seraphine, and that Rumble yet again shows its face, and the Ivern ban too, Cubby.
Also a side swap, Darkwing. So what are you looking out for here from Fear on the side swap?
Well, I mean, DSG chose blue like 3 games in a row or something, and now, or finally, I guess Fear swapped. I think, well, interestingly, I think this will be the first game Young might get counterpick, so we'll see how it turns out.
I think they were setting up for first pick Maokai, and with that Maokai being taken off the board, maybe they handshake the Sejuani Poppy again. So now with Kaisa showing, personally, I like Poppy into Kaisa a lot. It's really tough to pick your points. I don't know if you can speak any more on that interaction there, Darkwing.
I mean, yeah, you can't ult out. You don't really have any, like, your E is not really like a real mobility spell, but yeah, I mean, and Poppy's just kind of tanky. Like Kaisa, at least with the way like with poke Kaisa works, is it's not very strong versus tanks either.
I wonder if they do change that up this time around, because we did get Fake God as the one to not lock in the Renekton. So Philip won't get it for a 4th game in a row. We did get the Sejuani, a comfort pick for Tomio, something we talked so much about, something they were first picking over on blue side. We did get that response. The Poppy makes it back through. It was banned out, but now it makes it on out. And I think that's another enabler for Perry as a whole.
I think it's really important to note, too, that while that Renekton for Philip was on a 9-game win streak, Fake God is 17-3 on Renekton this year as a champion. So he is a beast. He was undefeated on this champ in spring. I know that there was a clip early in the season from Toast Co-Stream where he's like, Fake God has to play Renekton for the rest of the split, man. Like, you can only play this, right? It was actually too good. So pairing that with Sejuani, of all champions, really good start in the draft for this, guys. It's a lot of topside power.
Yeah.
I think Darkwings, especially when we've seen kind of the mid lane meta adapt here, I still find a lot of flexibility in that Kai'Sa, especially for Manui. But do you think that we're going to get an actual like brawl in the mid lane? I feel like we've had some quietness there this time around.
I mean, it's just been like a lot of like LeBlanc from Young, and I think it didn't seem like they were playing heavily around him. A lot of the times, like he was kind of just like he was just playing lane, like nothing was happening. LeBlanc as a champion, you like really want to get ahead and snowball. So I personally wouldn't want Young to play LeBlanc again, based on the comp as well. I would want him to play something like if nothing's gonna happen in mid lane, then just play something scaling.
I think it does say a lot that they actually let Rakan go through this draft, even when Xayah is showing to take away 2 young champions. Also, I really like the Tristana ban that this guy's has. Tristana feels great in Renekton, Sejuani, Xayah, and it's Shochi's best champion, I think. So even though we expect that Kai'Sa mid, I think throwing the Trist ban out was well worth it from this guy's as well.
I do actually really like the Lovers duo, though, for Meech and Zeyzal. I think Zeyzal has already shown that when he has a heavy hand, he can find a lot of the engages and be that shot caller. We did get that Zeri locked in for Manui. We'll see how that one works out here. Darkwings, you got any secret tech, anything cooking?
I think I saw Zeri in LPL.
You did, and it was
static
Shiv.
Yeah, seemed not bad. Not bad to Xayah at least. For mid, I mean, he could play Jace, but I think they want to make like some kind of like strong front to back team with their champions. Azir's probably the best.
Azir's taken away. Is there a chance we maybe
Azir's
see
banned.
Silas here? You have Leona ult. It's kind of tough to play in the Poppy Jax, but it is a young special.
Yeah, I don't think it would be that great here, but maybe Young wants to pull it out. We'll see.
Again, it's still DSG backs against the wall. They have to win every single game from here on out. And I'm going to look over to you, Darkwings, and say, you know, we were talking about the young LeBlanc. Well, hey, maybe another chance is the one that's going to make the difference.
Maybe. We'll see. LeBlanc, I mean, he's playing versus Poppy, so it's going to be not ideal for him again, but he might call Tomio over a bit more this game.
I will say this guy is very early on. They have 3 winning lanes, so like when you're Perry, like what do you expect from him here, Darkwings? Is he's going to be under a lot of pressure early?
Actually, yeah, Perry actually I think Perry is the one that has 3 winning lanes at least for the first bases.
Really? Even Xayah Rakan? Okay.
Yeah, I think Zeri. I mean, maybe Xayah Rakan can win, but I think if he should pass top side because Kai'Sa and Jack should win early lane phase. It's like after LeBlanc and Renekton gets first bases in that they'll start winning.
Yeah.
So we still have a little bit of time since we had some internet issues go down for one of the teams. I do want to get your kind of brass tacks here. All the thoughts of a player going into a game 4 where Disguise have now fought back, the experience coming into play for them. Do you feel like this is kind of a reverse sweep moment where they're bringing a lot of motivation because of that win from game number 3?
It's definitely like a huge mental edge to like start winning, and it was kind of like kind of decisive after like the Baron sequence and all that happened. So I think they're in a better mental now, and they'll definitely what's the word, like put their all.
Yeah, I like it. I do have word we're going to be filling for a long time here, so we're going to have a lot of time to pick apart this composition, especially, you know, some of the changes we've seen. I particularly want to focus on Fake God in the top lane, finally getting the Renekton. Something that I feel like Philip has had so much strength on. We've already talked about that so much, but it is a different turnaround, I feel like, in a game number 4 for Fake God, who a lot of this split was in our conversations for a front-runner MVP, Cubby.
Yeah, his first round robin was fantastic, and Renekton was a big part of that. So this is a champ that he's earned a lot of respect fans for. Like even, you know, if we have the extra time looking at Disguise, banned against Disguise, guess what? Renekton, second most banned, next to that LeBlanc that was very dominant early on in the meta that Young has his hands on now. So this is a champ that Fake God has proved that he can perform on. And as Darkwing said, you know, yeah, the first 3 waves, the Jax and Kai'Sa can push, but then after that, it will be a full court press for Disguise. So really have to see what Tomio and friends can get out of that, as they do get outscaled. So we'll see if this guys can push things hard enough to get a big lead and hold on to it this time around, because that was a little bit of an issue for them in games 1 and 2.
True. Now, we do have our game delay internet issues over at DSG, but we do have also Sierra to come in and give us some talking room here. So, Sierra, I want to welcome you back. Quickened break for you, but you got to see a little bit of what we're packing for game number 4, and I think the way that we've seen some of those adaptations draft could be really interesting in that momentum we were talking about earlier.
I got so much of a break. I ate one entire hot wing in there. It's
Oh my
honestly
God.
a little
Crazy.
still, so forgive me for that. But it was me who caused the internet issues, because I wanted to ask, before we head into our game 4 at this point, this is the chance. Darkwings, you're doing fantastic on your predictions. You don't need to do a change of things. But Zell and Cubby, though, I want to give you guys this opportunity to revisit how you think your predictions are going.
I ain't
As well,
changing a
Twitch
thing.
chat, this is the time that you can spam yours, too.
I ain't changing a thing. 3-2. Still going the distance. I want silver scrapes, but it's still
you're
fear.
fear favored, right?
I am.
All right, I'll take this guys just so I can be the voice of dissonance on the desk, I guess.
You say that like you weren't already pressing for disguise before we even hit predictions. Darkwings, can you believe this guy?
Yeah, dude. This guy he's changing.
Tell him how it is, all right, Darkwings? Tell him how it is.
It's okay.
No, it's...
Hey, it'll be fun either way. Make sure in the chat too. Chat is also very much with you, Cubby, over there. Disguise favor, but make sure to be getting those predictions in. If you think this is going to be where it's cleaned up here, game 4, we're getting into a game 5. Based off of this draft, though, Darkwings, this is your one chance on the prediction. The draft alone, which way is this kind of speaking to ya?
It's a fear win for me. Just based on draft.
Is it because of the little
It's
LeBlanc?
honestly,
Is
yeah,
it
it's because of the LeBlanc.
Oh no!
Oh no! Hey, I mean, honestly, I kind of thought Fear had the last one, but how Disguise is able to play Mitchell looked just alive all the time. Fake God was on one, Cubby. I mean, Disguise, they're gonna go down. They're going down screaming, that's for sure.
So I think a big part of what gave the Sejuani headaches in games 1 and 2 was actually the Ziggs. With that being taken away, I do think this is going to a game 5. I favor Disguise draft in this one, so curious to see if they can pull it off.
Well, we'll have to see as our game 4 is ready. Internet issues resolved, so me and Darkwings are going to take a leave. Have fun at the game, guys.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the help. While we're getting all of our internet issues underway for DSG, we are into a game that is all so pivotal for them. They are backs against the wall still. It is Fear versus DSG. And it is DSG who has fought back in game number 3. Now they've adapted. They've changed their composition a little bit, but it still relies on the experience, that level of connectivity from our 3 previous champions in spring for Fake God, Tomio, and Zazel to help pull them across the line.
Yeah, and we started the last game by saying that Mich's Aphelios was 9-2. Start this one by saying that the Zaya from him 9-3. So again, this is a really strong champion for Disguise and Meech this split. I really like Disguise draft just because, I think, Darkwing's correcting me saying that the first couple waves will be pressured 1 through 3, which is big for Fear. But after that, Disguise should have full court press, and I want to see how much time they can get out of it.
Speaking of Disguise, we got to hear a little bit from their owner, Disguise Toast. Let's go ahead and check in.
Favorite moments is just there's quite a few of them, but it's just the consistency of how the team plays. Like Meech's play style is very aggressive. Is the one thing that always stands out to me when I watch these games.
You hear the things that stand out, some of the favorite moments, but particularly it is focused on Meech. And we know how important that focus is. We saw it literally play out in front of us in game number 3. He was the carry. He stepped up to the plate and hit a home run.
Man, he just likes good marksman play, Marcel. He's a man of the LPL's heart, Man of your heart.
Yeah, he is. He's going right for my heart. Sad. I don't know what to tell my wife. Anyways, we're going to be getting into something where Fear have changed their composition as well. We've talked a lot about DSG coming to this one, the strength we saw from game number 3. But I also want to go back to the fact that Philip and Perry have nice combo now, but Perry, particularly on the Poppy, can be a big difference maker, and the change that we've seen in the composition for them.
It was so good in game 1 too, and we saw it specifically how they were able to use it to shut down that LeBlanc. Now, it was with the Ziggs pairing. That was big, but you can find similar interactions with Zeri, has that over-the-top damage with W. And Perry, someone that I feel like does have to break the pace of the game. Now, he did go a reverse clear this time around, so he's actually going to end towards the bot lane, where at the moment here, they do get shoved for the first couple waves before first base. Then after that, once Disguise get a couple levels, I think Disguise should really start to take over in pretty much every lane here. And again, I really need to see what Tomio can get done with this. Tomio is a player that we really talked about, Mazel, is, hey, he's really coming to his own this split. Feels like he's someone that is taking more onus on the own decisions that he is making, doing it by himself instead of just being led around by his team. And Tomio, he has the kitchen sink available to him. Everything is an option here when it comes to pressuring lanes. So Tomio going to elect to go top first, and guess what? He is warded out, slightly waiting for a crab to spawn. Is actually he lost camps, or I should say skipped over one camp and lost another one early on, the looks of things. He was at... Oh no, he 5 camps. All right, we're good. I'm just lost.
It's okay.
Pressure Philip.
Get lost in the sauce a little bit in some craziness.
You could dive. This is a good setup.
He absolutely could, and this would be a big moment. We've seen this on the other side, right? Fear have tried to set this up every time, but it is Tomio and Fake God who are decisive this time around. First blood for DSG.
That is way too damn clean from Fake God and Disguise. They get the wave in. Philip's going to lose a lot for that one as Flash committed from Tomio, the insta follow-up, the insta permafrost, and the insta first blood going into the pockets of Fake God and Disguise.
Combo is huge when you can get up there early, and we've seen Philip on the other side run away with some early leads on the Renekton. Now Fake God, one of the best in the league, going to be on that duty, I guess, this time around. Love to see Tomio getting involved early. I'm going to go back to where you were talking about earlier, because yes, I think when we talked about him earlier in this series itself, it was talking about his growth as a player himself, a little bit of the confidence that's been built. But it is the confidence that's built for a reason, right? Like, he went over to Evil Geniuses. He was in their academy system. He was going over to Cloud9. Now, after a championship in spring, he is right back at it with this likely crew here. But it has been the growth individually from him, I think, is so important.
Yeah, again, just seeing him make better decisions. And it really feels like Tomio is evolving into a more intelligent player, which is great to see. That was really the growth arc. He always knew this guy had the hands, but you know, as he is controlling maps better, that setup, of course, so important at the professional level of play. Seeing Tomio really push and evolve towards that is great, as at the moment, he might be setting up for an early Dragon, as he is skipping over his top side camps to get on this one on time. Meech and Zazel have shove. No base yet for either of our bot lanes. Favor goes to the Zyra, and that will be first Dragon being picked up uncontested by Disguise. Oh, hold on. Perry wants to contest. They want to contest.
Little contest.
Yeah, he just blast coned over. Perry's going to get here in time. JJ's trying to get his nose in there, see if he can spot anything out, but not going to be the case. So Perry's going to sneak into the lane.
They're going to try to go for a punish on the back end of this play. Dragon does go down. It is a Hex Dragon #1 to DSG. But actually, a recall going to come through from Manui and JJ as that play wasn't there. They weren't very aggressive after the Dragon take from DSG.
Yeah, Perry actually sacked quite a bit for that, too. So he could have been on his top camps right now, and then actually would have had a look onto Fake God. Yeah, Fake God's level 6. Likely not go up there, but might have been able to maybe take away a Raptor from Tomio. Instead, goes to hover his bot lane, make sure they get a good reset. We'll just take the Krugs, and now Tomio rinse and repeat gank top maybe. JJ has to take over the job of Perry because Perry was thinking about contesting the Dragon, so JJ is going to be the one hovering. This is a smart move from JJ, but will it be enough?
He's been integral at reining in the chaos for Fear in this split. A great addition to the Fear roster in place of Trevor, but also just being there to make sure he can hold the line. He might have needed to turn back around now as well. Will end up showing here as Perry's actually on his way as well. This could be turning into a 3v3.
It still is really well done, though, from JJ. Again, that Dragon hover from Fear, I think, being a little bit of a mistake from Perry, but JJ able to keep his top laner safe by walking towards that side on the reset. And that will open up a small window mid where Zazel could have looked. I like how Zazel responded to that. JJ was spotted top, so they would have had a man advantage here in mid, using the pressure through the block. At least posturing where that could be a possibility. Not going to be the case, though. As instead, top lane. Oh, look. Zazel's back.
And Philip's about to go down. That Counter-Strike might not save you here. Zazel gets the knock-up and gets the kill, too. Disguise have put full focus into top lane.
That's a bloodthirsty support, and guess what? Top lane, that is doomed. That is over. Fake God can freeze that wave, hold it for his own. As JJ will at least stop the base of Zazel, he's going to just kind of force him to stall some time. And honestly, I think why they're doing this, there is no ult on the Fake God. Rift Herald is about to spawn here in 15 seconds. There is a possibility that if they could delay a recall, if they do force Fake God to base, then there could be an open play onto the Rift Herald, which is really tough to take against Renekton and Sejuani.
Got into the wall there. Young going to be able to displace, but does lose his clone.
Really good chunk here. Young doesn't have access to TP. Again, I think that's why JJ was hanging up towards the top side, looking for any potential to take this dragon as, Meech, that's really well played.
Manui got a little bit of trouble, does have the hop over the wall. Meech was looking to potentially follow him there, but did not do it. Does have priority in bot lane. Fear have already started up and almost taken the Rift Herald. Tomio's here to combine, though. The rest of DSG, there's the Glacial Prison. See who gets it, though. It is taken by Tomio. There's that charm. Is it going to be enough? Fake God is in the fight, too, and he's big old crocodile as Shochi. There's Zazel going right back in. Young's there, too. The dive it and dodge it has come up clutch, and DSG are 4-0.
Oh, that contest from Fear. I said it. It's so hard to take Rift Herald against Sejuani and Renekton. Fake God, the ult came back. The Croc got in the middle of everyone and destroys the Herald fight in Disguise favors. They have a huge lead early in this game 4.
That is so big, and Fake God is stepping up now as well as Beach in that last game. You've got kills across this top trio, and it enables Disguise so much moving forward. And look at that total gold as well, going all the way Fake God.
Honestly, really excited to see a replay of this one, as I don't know how Zazel got out of there, man. He did really the cross-country walk from like the top side of Fear, was able to flash out E to 2 T-base, then made it to his side of the jungle. That was some hell of surfing there from Rakan.
And none other than Zazel, right? I told you gotta fear the beard, and it's not just fear that need to get the replay.
So that's a great ult by Tomio because it cancels the Poppy ult. So Poppy gets it back, but not in time to contest this Herald. Tomio wins out on the flip, and then look at Zazel. He dings 6 off that. Buys the time of Philip. Philip, right when he's about to go in, whoop, he go back over to Young. Young able to find parry 2 on the back half, while Fake God was just in the middle of everything, wrecking house as the early game Renekton. Good fight for Disguise. You can see the theory that Fear had to try and take that away from Disguise before Renekton got the ult back, but I think the Keeper's Verdict getting canceled by Tomio was the key play in that Herald to make sure that they at least got the fight. So even if they don't get the Herald for Disguise, they at least get a fight afterwards, which is so winning when Fake God gets his ult back.
We were talking about momentum. Well, DSG are using that quite well here. That Keeper's Verdict actually buys a lot of time, and Fear will be able to defend Shochi in the mid lane.
Young flashed over. I thought that could have been enough. Not quite. Young was able to escape that. Use at least as the empowered TP to get back. Dragon is up, so mid laners could reset. I think Young resetting first is key, because now if Young TP's back and keeps his health bar up, Fear have to get Shochi back to even think about contesting this Dragon, and DSG want to continue to press their power in the early game while their comp is very, very strong. So this Dragon, I think, falls in favor of DSG quickly.
Yeah, and that's what I want to lean into a little bit more, because we've seen DSG use their compositional early strength to their advantage so far. They're even getting a couple more plates on bottom side too, but that's where I want to shift the focus to Fear. They have the double marksman comp. They have the Zeri, who, yes, isn't the same Zeri we saw last year or even last split, but it's just the fact that you have this double static Shiv scaling here. Philip will be strong on the Jax later on as well.
About manicuring the waves, the sides, to make sure they can get farm and get to those points. But for Disguise, of course, about pushing to break that Mazel. And so far, Disguise have done a wonderful job of doing so. Fear gave them the opportunity to do so at that Herald, as that Herald will lead the first brick in the bot lane, and they're going to push for an inner crash as well.
You get first turret. They get all the plates to Meech as well. I don't know if they'll be able to get this next charge in there. The back does start getting completed here. Extra gold for the ward, but that push is enough to mean that DSG can redeploy and refocus the way they want to on the map.
Lovers Duel does get the quick base off, and we'll see if Meech and Zazel actually head towards this top side. We do have some sort of swap coming in to make sure they can keep on taking down these towers, as we still have 90 seconds left where plates are on the map. And yeah, You will have the swap. Won't be top lane for Meech and Zazel to try and find the mismatch in the Phillip. Instead, it will be them heading towards the mid lane to try and get some pressure down there.
Tomio's right back to where he knows he can get some more money. You got to focus on Phillip up here on the Jax, but luckily, Phillip has a lot of friends in tow. Manui, Shochi, JJ coming up here to help. There's the Solar Flare utilized with the Blast Cone, and the improved one will get him out of there.
Sneaky there from Tomio as he was just able to get on the right side of that empowered Blast Cone to make sure that he gets out. Fake God will get a plate because of that. Phillip doesn't have TP. He's got a base. Another plate for the Renekton is huge.
Tomio just continuing to play aggressive.
Could be a tower even.
Might
Meech and
even
Zazel up here. Instead, Fear, they show everyone. Yeah, I like this from Meech and Zazel. Just like bluffing up there. Once they see Fear respond in kind, they can shift back mid. They didn't fully commit, so they're going to have numbers advantage here again. So, DSG doing a really good job of playing with their tempo, Michelle.
It's actually really interesting the way they pulled apart the map. They have a 5K lead at 13.5 minutes in. It is absolutely massive. And it was lended off of an early advantage through top side, finding those skirmishes, but also the timings of these objectives. I think that is playing a lot of that experience into key for DSG.
Yeah, those first two dragons being taken are big, because now, like, with a lead this big and the champions of DSG being really strong at this point of the game as well, like 1-2 item spikes, it really puts Fear on a clock. Like, do they even contest this upcoming dragon, or do you wait until it is soul available? And the best news that Fear's gotten so far this game is that it is a Chemtech soul. Really one of the less impactful souls, especially this game, given the comp that Fear has. So Disguised, I mean, they just get to keep on pushing, have this full court press. They have shove everywhere on the map. It's just, you know, how much more can DSG get out of it than just neutrals at this point? So far, they've done a wonderful job at pushing the pace.
I hope that that pace continues, right? We were talking a little bit about momentum. We were talking a little bit, especially with Dark Wings, about how DSG can take that last game win and really propel it forward. Fear a little bit on the back foot, but with the composition that if you can be stable and find the late game promised land, you'll have a lot of strength in the team fights. I'm already looking, though, at proactive plays, and Perry is front and center in the Rift Herald. Not a lot of help here for him just yet, and the rest of DSG are headed up there.
Yeah, it has just been tickled, so Fear, they get the reset on it. That buys time, honestly, for DSG to get here and get position where I think this is going to be DSG favored. You can see Perry, he can't break the team fight, so he's going to try and break Young at the top side.
TP coming in as well. All right, Young's already gone. Thank God. I'd be in a little trouble. Has the rest of his team right behind him, and Zazel's going for the engage. Phillip immediately flashes, but there ain't no real exit strategy for Perry as Meech puts the feathers in his back.
I like the idea of the pick onto Young, but Fake God way too big. Does TP into the fight. This does mean that Kaisa and Zeri each get free goal, but DSG, they still find the win, find the tower, and find the second Herald, so they're trading up.
They are indeed, and they can use that to continue being pretty proactive. They have a Dragon sub-minute. Shochi's taking the side lane turret here. Will be responded to by a TP, so Young will be able to respond that quickly and not let that one go down. No big trade back, and an increased gold lead for DSG with yet another objective and a soul point coming up.
I think there's no contest. You can already see the reset from Phillip and Shochi a little bit late. If anything, try and get that top objective bounty. As a fight right now for Fear, it's too early. There is not even a Nashor's Tooth on the Shochi yet. They need items on this Kaisa. So I think sending Kaisa top at this point of the game is the right decision from Fear. Just sack this, try and set up on the top side, maybe get a pick in transition from DSG, but DSG way too far ahead for Fear to even think about contesting this.
I love it. Look at that team synergy. They all have one kill. Everybody's included. Everybody's got their say in this moment.
That's nice. That's real nice. I like that.
It's the little things, Cubby.
That's why Zazel took that one to the top side, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everybody let that one go to him. They knew what it was coming. Anyways, DSG know what's coming next, and that is a soul point for them. Unless Perry can make some magic happen, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any contest, and that gives so much more decision-making power to Disguised.
Fear will now be forced to respond to these dragons, as I still don't want to give up a soul. There could get in some alternative league theory about giving up soul to get Elder to spawn. Who knows? Maybe we see Fear out and embrace that. They were allergic to Elder in game 1. They took Baron instead, you know?
indeed. Oh, no.
I feel like this tweet's late.
I feel like it's a little late.
Right now, I think I've got the best chance of being prediction god, personally. Hey, Mazel, we're united in 5 games, man.
Hey, I'm here for it, man. I want Silver Stripes every time I can. I would love to see these two teams go head-to-head for it because, again, the way that we've seen these two teams come alive in summer playoffs, but also disguised when the moment is right, striking. Speaking of, it is the Rift Herald in mid lane that should get yet another outer tower. This will be the final one. Fear haven't gotten a single tower.
No pressure on the map for them. They will be able to stop the second charge. At least Manui sure as hell is trying to.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. See some
You got the Nashor's Tooth for Shoshi. Got a little bit of something.
Wonder, this might be a Rage Boy game. That might make some people frustrated in the chat, but you are going up against Renekton Sejuani. It's pretty easy to stack.
Oh, that's it.
Boy.
Killer Instinct has been used in Meech. He tries to get the Flash Blade Collar. One more. Oh my god. He has nothing left, but he survives. Sub 20 health there. And now it is the siege in mid lane from Fear. They're taking some tower shot. JJ. He just died. Is that worth it? The bounty goes down, so you get a little bit of something back. But Perry is here to try to deny Zazel. Nice steadfast presence.
So we got the flash out of Shoshi, though. That's big. DSG can look to punish that as JJ embracing alternative league theory, throwing his life away for an objective bounty. I mean, that's some dopamine for sure, man. Going down to the gray screen for that sound
gold
effect.
part, you know, all that, the money.
No, sound effect. That's what it's all about. You gotta have that play, man. That's the team mental buff.
I love it. Hey, speaking of teamwork, Fear have been a team that have relied on a lot of the synergy coming through. Yes, they put together a boot camp for the playoffs, but it feels like this team had grown together throughout a lot of the split, especially in the solo lanes and the way they come about it.
Yeah, and I think that, like, Shochi is someone that we've really seen step up throughout the second round robin. And if anyone's going to step up, it's got to be Shochi. I'm still curious to see what he ends up building this game, but you are on the Kaisa champ that is widely considered OP, if not one of the strongest champions on this patch, Mazel. It's a champion that Shoshi himself has been very good at this split, as it is now his most played. He was 5-0 on it until the last game, and now trying to preserve that record a little bit more, as I gotta say, it's still a really tough ask. Disguise has just done a wonderful job of playing this one. They couldn't really advance the game state until Baron spawns, but they have it on the map now.
And it's just showing a lot of that flexible strength. A reason why Disguised had 3 members in a championship run last split is because they are just so good together. And now we actually see those 3 members all together on the bottom side of the map and taking a tier 2 tower.
Baron might be on the table, but this guy's not looking at it yet. Instead, just want to get that inner, more gold over to their pockets. It will be traded for an objective bounty on the top side, so actually even trade at this point. Okay, not an even trade. You're correct. Dopamine, that's the difference maker there, right?
Exactly. That's the difference.
Yeah.
If we're building anything up in this series, it's just, you know, dopamine can hit a little bit different. Anyways, 1 minute and 15 seconds now for a dragon, but Fear are forcing the Baron. Zazel's gonna walk over here like, guys?
Hey, bro, that's a 10K, man. Well, why'd you hit that? So Fear, because of that time being invested, they will now have a delay to reset for the Dragon Mazel. You can see Disguise are gonna take some recalls right now, and Meech should recall after this wave. Cumbio Zazel gonna go back, get all nice shopped up, hit the shopping spree, hit the mall right before this soul comes onto the map. 4 objective bounty points going over to the Jax, but will be enough for Fear? That's the big question, as right now DSG is still so incredibly strong. They're gonna be shopped up and fully loaded as they hit the Rift.
Do you ever remember those like shopping network things? I don't remember, where they give a person a basket and you have like 30 minutes to run through an entire giant warehouse store and pick up anything you can fit?
Last time I saw that was Pokemon did it, because Sierra retweeted it. It hit my feed.
It brings it back. Well, maybe some of those shopping sprees will end up going to one of these players here. I don't know if we're going to have time for shopping, though, because it looks like Fear want to put some pressure on this dragon. Again, this would be a soul for DSG.
Fear forced to fight. TP coming in. Double TP. Okay.
TP's everywhere. The beams have a light, and Zazel gets the double great entrance. Fear don't even have a fight left in this one. The Reaper has turned into a ghost, and Fear have nothing left.
Once
oh my God, Manui. Oh, big God, he goes down. That's a killing spree for the Crocodilian himself, and Shochi's all by himself now, too. That blast cone will get him to safety. They were trying to catch him out, but that Baron will go straight to disguise.
Yeah, you can start singing Silver Scrapes in your head right now, because this one, yeah, it's going to game 5. Watch this. Game 1, talked about how they were waiting out the steadfast presence of the Poppy to then go in. Look at this, steadfast presence, burn, Zazel, snap, engage immediately. Great route into the knock-up, the combo from Zaire Rakan. As Meech actually starts it off the route, Zazel follows up, everyone falls. Disguise way too damn big, and not much to talk about here, Mazel. This has been domination from start to finish from Disguise.
And we've talked so much about disguised carries, the mechanical players that Young and Meech are coming into this one, but man, every time you don't talk about them, every time you think, maybe a support doesn't make the difference, Zazel makes the difference. We've heard this guy's drive, his want to make a legacy in the LCS, and he is not stopping until he's back there yet again, and he has been a dominant force in this game 4.
You could argue step 1 is getting to the finals of Challengers League as Disguise.
He's already done that. He got a championship last season.
Hold on. Yeah, he did, but also this time through the upper bracket.
You got to change up the approach. There you go.
Didn't do that last time.
But this guy has been such a big piece, and like you hear a lot of the leadership coming through. Now, speaking of leadership, Perry, the leading force of Fear, helps Shochi get a kill.
That's a small win over to Fear. Nice pick from them. Not much that Fear can do on the map right now, so Young too far up. It took the Dragon and have resources on the top side. He gets punished, but now Recall is going to be a little bit late here for Fear. See if Disguise decides to hit this inhibitor turret instead. Going to shift their power into the mid-inner. I like this from Disguise. Respecting that they are down a man on the Rift. We'll take that one free and get out.
You get a little bit in terms of the siege down. They still have about 1 minute and 20 on that Baron buff as well. And Turos feel pretty good right now with the amount of gold that DSG has gotten while they had their Baron buff. I think a 7.5k lead, while we've seen some of the fight backs from Fear, is just something that is so hard to fight from. Yes, you have the timer on an Elder Dragon, but the fact of the matter is, Zazel and Tomio have the trigger pull to end your life every time you try to step up to a fight.
Yeah, and again, once the steadfast presence goes to the wayside, that's their really signal to go in, to go get things started.
This is a deep flank from Tomio.
It is.
Four legs go fast. Oh,
that's nice.
That's a pretty nice schmooze from Philip there. Little big brain play.
He's out of there. Does he get this, though? He's trying to deny this from Disguise. We're going to see it still up. Yeah.
Okay, you got all the extra stuff to jump to, right? You have
he denies Blast Cone. Deny that one, too. Aw.
No. Zazel wins that one. Because of the thumbs down. Love it. Zazel, all right, you're a menace. He's a menace. He's playing with confidence right now, but also DSG playing with but he stopped the back, mental difference. We did get that tier 2 tower on the top side going down now, and DSG looking to siege with the rest of this Baron for another 5 seconds onto the inhib turrets, but it won't be long enough, and the reset should come through.
That's a high value Baron. This guy's doing everything they need to make sure we get to a game 5. Honestly, in a timely manner. Feels like they're making up for that game 1 themselves.
True. And game 3.
Yeah. It's been quite the series.
We've had some long ones, man. We've
had
had some
quite
long
a series.
ones.
Honestly, though, you think about it, by the end of this game, it could very easily be, one team wins a long one team wins a short one, right? Huh?
Hey, I'm here for that. I'm just here for a game 5 between two teams that have stopped at nothing to make it here, right? Their previous wins were upsets. They knocked 2 of our LCS affiliate challenger teams into the lower bracket. They have made the difference, and especially when you look at Fear, their growth from last spring, a little bit of that disappointment at the last, even if they did make it so far, to grow this far and have such a strong start to a best of 5 feels good, man.
Yeah, this has been a really different split for Fear, because it felt like this time around, like we had expectations for this roster, and now they're kind of reaching them. I think a 2-0 over TLC is over exceeding the expectations we had, but where Spring was like we had none, and it's like, holy crap, this team's 4th in the league. All of a sudden they're really good. Wow, this is great, right? And then this one is like, hey, we have expectations for Fear. Can they be better than just 4 seed, middle of the pack, right? They proved that against TLC. So close to proving that now by taking the high road to the grand finals to book that ticket to LA, but Disguised, they have 3 former champs, man. They want to get back there the easy way this time around. They're taking advantage of this opportunity. Started off 0-2, looking for the reverse sweep. As I think Disguise and Toast will be pretty happy about that one along with all these players. Just moments away from taking this game.
I think that's the biggest thing is like the playoff season, the story for Fear is there, but Disguise have so much behind them, right? They are our first, org affiliate for a streamer, right? Disguise Toast being a huge piece to making this season happen for them, but it's also some of the best of Challengers League that we have. And I've seen them really come alive in some of these moments, especially against that FlyQuest Challengers roster. They took that 2-1 victory over. But as we get back into this game particularly, Tomio is looking active. We have another Baron coming up in about 40 seconds. But the biggest timer is 1:25 till Fear have to find a dragon fight. They might not even be alive for it at this point. You got the lockdown from Zazel. This is an 8K gold deficit that you're getting engaged onto with, and the double combo there too. Here comes Philip. They get one back at least, but it's not gonna be enough. Big God's still full health. Shochi is trying to put in some work, but look how much damage Meech does too, as the feathers sting and Disguised find everything.
I mean, they only get a 1-for-1, honestly, and the health bars can be replenished now from Fear. They have 2 TPs available, so yeah, Disguise, they win out hard in the fight, but this is honestly an okay moment for Fear. Philip's gonna TP mid. He's okay. Oh, that was Shochi, actually. Where did Philip TP? He TP top.
I love the Disguise immediately turned on that.
They can't start it. They can't start the Baron. Tomio, okay, he's just going to queue into the wall for fun. They have to think about taking this Elder Dragon, honestly. And Tomio might need a reset if they want to stay on the map.
He just got almost all his health back right there.
That's tricky, though. Credit to Fear. They peeled really well with Perry and the Poppy there.
Problem is, though, ultis are coming back up. Tomio's already got his Glacial Prison back up. Grand Entrance with the quickness is there.
Yeah. A lot of flashes burned here from Fear. The top side, all 3 flashes missing. So Zazel, if he goes in again, that could be deadly.
Tomio baiting it out. Gonna go with that Glacial Prison. There's Zazel with the lock-in. He's got the quickness. He actually hits on the back line on Manui, but they can't find the damage because you had that Keeper's Verdict used on Fake God. Now it's Fear with a bit of a reset fight. Philip maybe playing with a little bit of confidence. JJ getting locked down here as well. Zazel goes back in. The lightning crashes there, but the AoE is not. The lockdown is too much as a Feather Storm with the Blade Collar combo. And a pentakill for the best mechanical ADC in LCS Challengers. Bow to your king, Meech.
Well, that's Meech's 3rd penta of the split, and that's going to send this one to a game 5 as Disguised and that in style. Fake God was massive on his Renekton all game as well. The power from the top side was shifted into the bot lane. Meech gets a big fight at the end, cleans this one up in style, and guys, Silver Scrapes, we're going to game 5.
Couldn't have expected anything less from 2 of our top teams, 2 teams who know what is on the line, a ticket to the Riot Games Arena, and baby, you better get those speakers bumping, because we got Silver Scrapes coming right your way.
That was...
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.